Hi, hello, I'm Joan from Reading with Joan. Welcome to my channel. Kindly remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel today. We love reading with you and interacting with our kids. On our Wednesday time, we read, and on Saturday, we talk and we just talk about morals, talk about things that are related to our culture because we want kids to be culturally aware. We want kids to grow up to be very responsible and independent individuals. I hope you will join us Wednesday and Saturday. Remember, like, comment, and share our channel with your friends and family. We hope you enjoy reading with us today.
Creative kids, come join us, come. Reading with Joan, the place for all the fun. Have a great time, come join us, come. Reading with Joan, the place for all the fun. Creative kids, come join us, come. Reading with Joan, the place for all the fun. Have a great time, come join us, come. Read and write.
Hi kids, we are still reading our tales of wisdom from around the world. We are continuing the story from China. I really enjoyed last week's story, Blinded by Greed. Let's see, what's the title of today's story? The Stolen Art. Short, and I hope we would learn the meaning and the morals behind the story. A woodcutter went out one morning to cut some firewood. You know what? If you've never seen firewood before, some of us have fireplaces in our houses, but that is what some woodcutters do. They go into the wood to cut wood for fire, so they call it firewood. He looked around for his favorite axe and discovered on his alarm that it was missing. Who could have stolen his axe? He anxiously searched around the woodpile behind his house and his shed, but couldn't find it anywhere. The woodcutter became more agitated the longer he spent trying to find his tool. Then, out of the corner of his eyes, he noticed his neighbor's son standing next to the woodshed. The woodcutter stared at the boy and thought, look at him looking around the shed, shifting uneasy from foot to foot, greedy hands puffed into his pockets. What guilt look on his face. I cannot prove it, but he must have stolen my axe. The woodcutter fumed and promised himself he would get even for the crime. The next day, the woodcutter stumbled on his axe lying beside the pile of firewood. I remember now, he exclaimed. It was just where I left it when I was splitting wood. The next day, he saw his neighbor's son. The woodcutter looked intently at the boy. He scrutinized him from head to toe. How odd, he thought. Somehow, between yesterday and today, the boy has lost his guilty look. Kids, kind of a funny story, right? One day, the boy looked guilty when the axe was lost, and the next day, the boy did not look guilty when the axe was found. Can you infer what is happening in the story? The boy must have taken the axe, and then he would have realized he would be found out, and the boy must have returned it. These are all assumptions. So today's lesson is we have to be careful with assumption. I tell DJ girls that when you want to make a decision, don't make a decision on assumption. Always get your facts right. The woodcutter made an assumption one day, and the next day his assumptions were wrong. Did you notice He searched around the woodpile behind his house, but he didn't search where he was splitting the wood. Now he assumed the boy stole the axe. Next time, do not assume things like the wood cutter. It's possible, again, that the boy stole the wood, the axe. But in any case, because he did not search everywhere, including where he was splitting wood, he just checked behind the house in the shed where the wood pile is. We have to be careful with assumption. That is what I learned today. You don't assume anything and don't make people guilty. Even if they are looking guilty, that doesn't necessarily mean they took something. It could just be your confusion. So, hope we keep the story and we get the facts right before we assume other people's actions.
Hi, thank you for joining us today. I'm Natalie, and today we're reading Jungle Doctor in Slippery Places, Chapter 1, Unwelcome Patient. That man Dola is with us again, said Dr. Dodi Matana. Mboga laughed. Truly, his head is of bone. He dived through the window of the train because he thought he saw a policeman. I saw it happen. His arms held tightly to a steel box, and his head struck a large stone with a heavy thump. Did you use the wisdom you're taught here? That and more, chuckled Mboga. Is he not here in the men's ward, sewn up, bandaged, treated for shock, and doing as well as can be expected? But, Dr. Doddy, you should have seen his clothes. The lovely colors, they will make Jacobo's eyes stick out with jealousy. In the ward, the young doctor examined the injured man. He turned to Jacobo, the hospital senior male nurse. Dola needs rest and quiet. Call me if his pulse rate changes. As he walked through the door, the doctor was remembering. When Dola and that trick Sir Nubu were in here a year ago, a change started to come over Jacobo. I only hope Dola's present visit doesn't make things worse. Jacobo counted the unconscious man's pulse and noted it on his chart. He picked up the double-locked steel box, put it in the cupboard, and packed Dola's folded clothing neatly on top of it. He sighed. From the far end of the ward, a quavering voice demanded, "Give me medicines for the snake within." Jacobo grunted. A small boy chose that moment to be violently sick. Jacobo groaned aloud. Glancing at the clock, he saw it was time to take Dola's pulse again. His hand had barely touched the bandaged wrist when Dola's one visible eye opened. There was a gleam in it. Huskily, the sick man spoke. "There is a key in my pocket. Open the steel box and take out a parcel and a transistor radio. Hide that parcel safely and the radio is yours." Jacobo whispered urgently. "Keep your voice down. Mboga is here and his ears are loud. So is his mouth," hissed Dola. "This matter must be kept secret." Mboga strolled up. "How's our tough friend?" Jacobo shook his head, put his hand on Mboga's shoulder, and tiptoed with him to the door. "You must keep him quiet and give him complete breath. Please go and tell Dr. Doddy that the pulse is lower and temperature normal." Mboga was no sooner out of sight than Jacobo moved to the cupboard, unlocked a box, and pushed 2 packages up his shirt. At midday, the doctor came to the ward. Dola was propped up, muttering and breathing fast. "Hold him forward, Jacobo. I want to listen to his chest." After a minute, Dr. Dodi Matama took his stethoscope from his ears. "It's pencil in for him, or he'll have pneumonia on top of his head injuries." Jacobo nodded, went to the medicine cupboard, and returned with a syringe and pencil. He rolled up Dola's sleeve and said in a low voice, "Your parcel is fixed firmly under the ward's table with sticking plaster. No one ever looks under there." "Okay," muttered Dola. Jacopo injected expertly. Again, Dola's eyes opened. You do that well. I've had many injections, but none as good as that. Jacopo felt a warm glow inside him. Dola's voice came again. Why work here for wages, but only whisper in your pocket when you could be rich and buy anything you want? Jacopo shrugged. I have told you before. There is much interest and satisfaction in the work of the hospital. Dola sneered. You can't eat, drink, or wear satisfaction or interest. Do you enjoy listening to the complaining voices of the sick or doing work that is no food for the nose? What joy you must get out of giving medicines and making bags. What satisfaction there must be of working at night when you should be sleeping, or better still be in a town having fun. The male nurse put down their syringe. What are you up to, Dola? Does it please you to disturb my mind and bring unsettling to my thoughts in my head? There was disgust in Dola's voice. Disturb! Unsettled! Are you a complete fool? Doesn't your mind protest when you hear voices that order? Jacopo, do this. Jacopo, do that. Jacopo, come here. Jacopo, go there. Open your eyes, man. For merely hiding a packet, you've become the owner of a powerful transistor radio. Can't you see that with enough penicillin and the skill you have, you could quickly become rich? Amazingly rich. In these villages and towns, many desire medicine for the disease that is spoken of only in whisper. His voice was high-pitched with excitement. There are thousands and thousands of shillings for someone like you with the right people to help. Jacopo, called a voice urgently. Jacopo! What was I saying? Breathed Dola. If you're fool enough to keep living in this way, it's your affair. Jacopo turned away sharply. As he hurried down the ward, he stumbled, grabbed at the syringe, and missed. Moga stood in the doorway and laughed. There is no joy in broken syringes. Last week, I lost 2 shillings for my wages for doing that. Taking the glass under a bed, Jacopo walked out of the ward. He glanced at the marking on the sleeves of his tunic and thought, after 7 years' service, because I do not make trouble, I'm pushed about in order to do this and that, like first-year training. He passed a window. Dr. Matama's voice called, Jacopo, don't forget you have those blood specimens to examine. With difficulty, he replied, quietly, yes, doctor. His head seemed to throb with anger as he muttered under his breath. Dola was right. I've something better to do than work with a microscope. I'll listen to the word on that transistor and tune into any station I want. Then he saw a bunch of keys in the storeroom door. One of these he knew would open the dispensary. There were riches for him in that dispensary with bottles of penicillin and syringes and needles. He made sure no one was looking, and in a few seconds the key was off the button. Thank you for joining us today on Jungle Doctor and Slippery Places. We hope you'll join us next time to read the rest of the chapters. Bye!
Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope to see you next time on another story time with Joan, reading with Joan.